and welcome back to a brand new video, and today is an absolute freezing one. So I just got in the car, just started to defrost it, and it was reading -3 on the old temperature gauge in the car. But what a glorious morning with the sun out, and it looks like it's going to be an absolute fantastic one. So we're not really going to start the video off. So this is in Bisbee. This is North Shore Golf Club, and I just thought I'd bring you just that amazing shot. You know, the white frost on the greens and the fairways. So we're going to sort of head on a little further and just see what we come across. We're going to let the camera, shall I say, do the talking today on this one. But certainly a very, very cold start today. So as the high tide rolls in, we're just going to take a bit of a stroll just along this section of the promenade. And you know, as the high tide rolls in, you know, things are going out of Blackpool. So we've got the Christmas market is packing up. I believe on the 5th of January the illuminations comes to an end on the 5th of January. And it's certainly going to be a bit of a different town, to be fair. You know, once all the lights have gone and the Christmas market's gone, it's certainly going to be a bit of a quiet town. But you know, there's plenty on the horizon, plenty to look forward to, and like I said, there's events on all through the year. And in fact, so what I'll do, I'll pop a link in the description of all the events what are upcoming for 2025. So if you are planning a trip, maybe you can, you know, take in one of these events and book your holiday around possibly one of these. And you can see the vast amount of seaweed what's been sort of churned up along this sort of a stretch of the beach. And if you just have a look, you can even see, let's just take it a little bit closer, and you can even see it's white, you know, with it's completely solid, that. And you can see, you know, how white that one is with the frost. And that's right next to the sea. Unbelievable. Bit of a strange one there. So there's a pair of shoes. Well, you can't really call it a pair of shoes because they're the two odd ones. How unusual is that? If that's been washed up on the beach, two different ones. So we're gonna head off the beach section and have a bit of a look around the prom. Maybe a few streets as well. But you can see this is the last bit of a beach to get covered, and you can still see, you know, people just grabbing that last moment of the beach before it disappears in about an hour and a half under the high tide. And what a day today. Just look at those blue skies, absolutely magnificent. So like I said, we've had a bit of a bad start for the new year with things being cancelled, but just look at that sky today. Absolutely really, really nice, that lovely sort of blue colour. So hopefully, you know, it's a cold start, but let's hope things continue like today with the weather. I've always wanted to see this with the old shadow. You can see my shadow just walking along, and it's one of those things, you know, you always want to do, just sort of film your own shadow, unless it's just me. But there you go. But yeah, just walking forward, you can see there's a lot of these trucks around. We'll just go a little bit forward and I'll just show you what I mean. So there you go, another sort of flatbed, and these are dotted around all the way up to Bisbee. Now, I think it's all to do with obviously taking the illuminations down, but I didn't think it was coming down until the 5th. So unless they're sort of just taking certain sections down, at a time, but you can see there's a couple of guys there just looking at those spindles, as I call them. So whether they're going to be taking those down today, who knows. But yeah, so they wouldn't bring a flatbed truck for nothing, so it looks like these are possibly going today. So yeah, these will be next year. So like I said, it's certainly going to be a bit of a ghost town when everything's gone. And there they are. You can see they're just walking. Looks like they're just sort of looking at the situation, shall I say. So I think that gentleman's got it right. He's just having a coffee, just listening to the waves coming in, and it's certainly peaceful. He's certainly got it right. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the promenade. We're going to leave at the North Pier, because it's like I said, it's one of the famous piers, the oldest pier in Blackpool. Fantastic Victorian pier. So we're going to leave it here. And we're going to have a bit of a look on Hornby Road. There's a couple of stories I just want to tell you about Hornby Road, and there's a really old pub just near Hornby Road. We're going to have a quick peek at as well. So it is a bit of a trip, but it was certainly worth the ride. So yeah, I'll see you in a second, and we'll get back on to the video on Hornby Road. So we're just near Hornby Road, and this is like a little square, shall I say, where Hornby Road meets a lot of the other roads. And now you're probably wondering why I'm showing you a vape shop. Now the reason being, this used to be a bank, and it's just on Forest Gate, and this used to be Lloyd's Bank. And if you have a look, you know, it's amazing how things change. And if you have just a bit of a look there, I'd imagine that's probably where the old night safe used to be. You can see there was the letterbox. I'd imagine that's probably where they covered it up and the night safe used to be. And swip the camera around to the left, and certainly is blazing. So there's a Sandcastle Care Centre, a sort of training centre, shall I say, and I'm sure that used to be a HSBC bank. And you know, sort of 95% positive, just on the corner of Hornby Road. And you know how these have certainly changed over the years. So what I'm going to do, we're going to have a bit of a walk up Hornby Road. So it is quite a little disappointing when you first start at Hornby Road, because you know, sadly, you know, it's gone downhill a slight bit. And these are some wonderful guest houses and hotels. But I want to tell you a little story as we have a walk up. So Hornby Road, it dates back to 1873, and is one of the original roads in Blackpool. It's actually named after the Hornby family, who owned Raikes Hall, now more famously known as the Raikes Parade pub. And the Hornby family bought the land in 1802, and the hall until 1820. And you know, it's a popular entertainment complex until the early 1900s. And the reason being, there's a property, and it's this one here. So if you're into your paranormal, 195, the bottom flat, is completely haunted. And there's a building just next door, and I'm not going to mention what happened in this building. It's got a very, very dark history. But yeah, 195 Hornby Road is one of the most haunted places I've stayed in. So like I said, it is one of the most haunted places, and the reason being is I stayed here when I was a kid at my auntie's, and I used to mess about with the Ouija board when I was about 10, 11 years old. And basically, I think I was possessed in the bottom flat. And I remember looking into the mirror, and I just saw pure evil. Absolutely pure evil looking back. So it wasn't something looking back at me, it's just evil in the mirror. And I floated across the room, according to my grandmother. I floated across the room. And there's been all sorts of tales and all sorts happen in the bottom flat of 195 Hornby Road. So we're just gonna have a bit of a walk down to on Liverpool Road, and again there's another one, the Raikes pub I just mentioned a moment ago, and this is steeped in history and it's also haunted. So if you didn't know that, it's actually haunted, the Raikes pub. And yeah, so if you just going back, you know, if you do have had a bit of a dabble with the Ouija board, you certainly don't, or if you're thinking about doing it, I strongly recommend you do not mess about with it. They certainly work. They are very dangerous, and yeah, do not do it. That's all I'm saying. So enough on that one. We'll go and have a look at this Raikes pub. So Raikes Hall is certainly steeped in its own history. So it was actually built by somebody called William Bochart in 1760, and it's been all sorts of things. And you know, it's actually been a convent. So from 1860 to 1870, it was actually transformed into a convent, which was owned by the Sisters of Holy Child over the years. And there's been sort of, you know, rumours of happenings and all sorts of things, you know, within the gardens. So it is actually sort of, you know, steeped in history. And like I said, you know, spirits apparently do roam the old convent. So like I said, you know, it was originally built for the Hornby family, and you know, wonder if their spirits still roam it. As we have a bit of a walk round, I'll tell you a little more about the hauntings of Raikes Hall. So, you know, apparently, you know, one of the apparitions and the sightings is one of the sisters who reportedly drowned in the lake within the gardens, and apparently she still haunts it to this day. And like I said, they used to have a lake in the gardens, and apparently, like I said, she roams the hall, and the staff and also other people have heard and seen her. So as we move on, like I said, there's many apparitions. There's also cold spots in the cellar, what's been reported. There's even staff who refuse point blank to even go down in the cellar. So, you know, let me know what you think. Have you been in this one? Have you felt any presence? Or do you think it's all just made up and make-believe? But certainly it makes for a fascinating read. And again, I'll pop the link in, you know, see if I can find some sort of link for the story on the Raikes Hall. So Hornby Road is also the housing to the Wainwright Club, and they do all sorts of functions and events in that one. So if, like I said, if you're planning a party or wedding, certainly pop into the Wainwrights and ask them. Like I said, they hire the halls out, and they've got 2 bars, so it's certainly a fantastic place to go. So there's also, you know, some really sort of charming, lovely buildings along Hornby Road, and just look at this one as well. And you see the lovely stained glass windows, if you can see that. Fantastic. Look at the old woodwork. Certainly a wonderful building, and there's plenty like this, you know, along Hornby Road. Again, you know, just opposite, you see that wonderful little balcony. And imagine, sort of years back, you know, these used to be little guest houses and hotels. And Hornby Road, like I said, you know, it's a very, very old road. It's one of the original roads in Blackpool. You know, down this end, it's sadly gone downhill a little bit, but, you know, all the way down, you know, all the way down there, it used to be sort of full of bed and breakfasts and little guest houses, and it certainly can tell a lot of history, this one. So as we continue down just a little bit more of this road, you just see the tower poking its head out right above the house lines, and there's actually there's a couple of houses, surprisingly enough, and it's number 143 and 121 Hornby Road. Well, I've actually got they've been granted tree preservation orders, and that was in 1973, 1998. So I'd imagine it's actually this one. So whether it's this tree, who knows? But apparently there's a preservation order on this train. You know, you'd have thought, oh, chop that down or whatever. But yeah, it looks like it's possibly this one. It's got a preservation order on it. So this is certainly a wonderful house. I'm not too sure if this was like to be honest, I ain't got a clue. So this is 141. Let me know in the comments if you know what this used to be. Look at this. This is magnificent. And it's boarded up. What a shame to move away from the sun. But just look at that. Look at the decor. And how charming does this one look? So I'm just having a quick scout through Facebook of all places. And apparently 141 was a mother and baby home. So, you know, if that's true, you know, that is certainly amazing. Like I said, it's all boarded up now. And I was just, like I said, looking at a post. And somebody was trying to find out where the mother was. So yeah, it was 141 Hornby Road. A mother and baby, some sort of like complex house back in its day. How amazing. So again, you know, some wonderful buildings. This is now the Whitaker Dance and Drama Centre. And you know, I'd imagine back in its day it would have been a really glorious hotel or bed and breakfast. And I'm just going to show you a house opposite. And that certainly looks absolutely fantastic. Like I said, this is just like in the middle of Hornby Road, shall I say. But let's have a quick peek at this house just here. What a fabulous building. And just look at this fantastic building. So you can't really see a lot with the trees and the plants. But this one is 100 years old on Hornby Road. And what I'm going to do now, I just spoke to the gentleman. And I didn't want to get his face, things I don't believe and things like that. Because he might have felt a bit awkward. But I'm going to just sort of play a little bit of his story now.
The entrance to the gardens was on the corner of Hornby Road and Raikes Parade. That was the second entrance. The main entrance was where the Salvation Army building is now, and that was the main entrance. And the park ran all the way from Raikes Parade right to the bottom of Whitegate Drive for many, many years. And it was relatively successful in the early days. Yeah. And then the popularity faded off because it was just too far out of town.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of steeps in history, Hornby Road. You know, all those wonderful guest houses and, you know, bed and breakfasts back in the sort of 50s and 60s.
Well, before then, Raikes Parade, where there's two synagogues within 100 metres of each other, was a mainly Jewish quarter.
Right.
And this was a weekend place where the guys in textile and cotton would come down from Manchester. The wives would spend the summer here in their own homes, of course, and the other half would come down for the weekends, the husband, I guess.
Brilliant, well, fantastic. Thank you for that information. So this is Church Street, just more or less going to close the video off now. And again, you know, this is probably sort of steeped in history, all sorts of tales to tell. But what a wonderful guy that gentleman was, sort of giving that a little bit of history. You know, a lot of people probably wouldn't know, so it's certainly amazing, you know, speaking to people. Like I said, I didn't get his face on the camera, to be fair. I didn't really ask, because I know it's a little awkward for some people. But yeah, fantastic history. And I know Stephen, Walking the Wild Side, I watched one of his videos. I think he's got a recent one, and he's saying there's a little pink building just on the corner, and it used to be toilets, and that's certainly, you know, where I need to go. So I'm dying for a pee, shall I say? So I'll just show you that. Close the video out, and hopefully, like I said, you have enjoyed this bit of a walk around. Like I said, this is Church Street, and there's many shops also down here. This is more sort of like businesses, shall I say, rather than shops. And like I said, you know, you can imagine these have changed hands so many times. But again, you know, wonderful detail. Imagine, you know, back in years ago, these have certainly been grand old buildings as we walk down that little further. So as Stephen rightly said, these used to be toilets back in the days, back when there was free to go in. And nowadays, you know, it's like got £1 or something just to enter them. And you see these are all boarded up But like I say, this is Church Street, and it's certainly got sort of history with this one. As we just have a quick look back up to Church Street, let's whip the camera right round, and like I said, this runs back, to 1700s, and it used to be called Lane Ends. How fascinating, Lane Ends, and obviously then it was renamed. So it used to be the main route for visitors and people entering Blackpool, and like I said, certainly things have changed over the years. So until next time, take care. If you do like this video, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button and the notifications, and until next time, take care, and it is a bye from me. Bye bye.